It's a podcast. Hey.
This is Brady.
I'm Jeremy.
Hi, Jeremy and Brady.
Who are you?
I'm Rick.
Oh, hi there, Rick. I'm Alex.
And I'm Brady. And this is the podcast. Who are we this week, Ricky?
We're the Four Horsemen.
Four Horsemen.
Is this the first time we've been back at 4 since the first one?
Yeah.
Yeah, it has.
Wow.
All right, so this would be podcast number what?
5.
Jesus.
Podcast 5, where the 4 of us are back together.
Yep, Four Horsemen. So,
How was leadership camp, Jeremy?
Leadership camp was a place where I didn't make posters, but these guys don't believe me. Did not make a single poster while I was there.
Don't believe you.
I didn't. There was a whole committee dedicated to making posters, and I wasn't on that committee.
So you sat there the whole time.
No, I was on one of the other 20 committees.
what did your committee do?
We planned the schedule for the day. All the committees. There was only one time where you really make posters, is for the 5th day. All the students got to plan stuff. Otherwise, the camp counselors and stuff made the posters for everything. But the 5th day, the students got to plan. And so I was on this committee called Steering, where all the other committees submitted their proposals to us, and we made the schedule.
How did they assign you to these committees?
Our council, which was our school and another school if we weren't big enough, and we weren't big enough, so we had another school. Our school got a group of them. We had little slips, and our council leader put them on the ground and was like, "Go for it." And so I grabbed Steering.
So you took part in your version of Survivor. Have you seen Survivor before? You have the council. Everyone gets together, and then
I've seen Survivor.
It's kind of like that.
The tribal council.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we didn't get to vote people off though.
That's disappointing.
What's up?
Alex is looking a little low.
All right.
He turned me down. He doesn't want to hear me. I don't think anyone wants to hear me, apparently.
Well, I disagree. I want to hear you.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I edit this, so I get to say.
I'm fine with Alex's voice.
Alex, can you go ahead and just tell us a story?
I want to hear your voice.
A story. Okay, tell me what you want the story to be about.
No, that's not how stories work. If he says, "Tell me a story," you have.
Well, I don't have any good stories.
One
off
of
the top
your
of my head,
various.
so I'll make one.
book
I
of
want to hear
stories.
your story about
No,
you going
Alex,
to buy these
open your
dice.
storybook. You have a storybook. Open it. Of stories that you've written.
Alex, tell us the story of you going to buy these dice.
Okay.
All right. Make sure it's good.
I might embellish a bit, but
Hey, this is your story.
That's just my storytelling ability. So I woke up one day and I realized that I don't have any dice.
Was it noon at this point?
Yeah, it was about 1:30 in the afternoon. I woke up, the sun was right across my face. It was perfect. And I realized I don't have any dice.
Do you have air conditioning in your house?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. So I just, air conditioning. So I woke up.
Do you sleep in socks?
No, I don't.
All right.
He's not wearing socks now.
Oh.
Yep.
When was the last time you wore socks?
Yesterday.
Wow.
I wore some socks yesterday.
I couldn't imagine not wearing socks since yesterday.
All right, so back to my story. So I woke up and I realized I don't have any dice for this D&D campaign that I'm throwing together with all these kind of cool guys, I guess. So where I thought to myself, where can I get some dice?
Amazon.com.
Like Stevens.
I thought Amazon. I was just like, well, how about I'm not a completely lazy piece of shit and I just go to somewhere nearby?
Yeah, go to a
and get
local
them.
store and support people that aren't a major company.
Mm-hmm. Kind of like that. So I realized I wasn't a piece of shit. So then I got up and I was like, okay, I'm going to go find a place that sells dice. So then I was like, well, Granite Falls is a piece of shit town. I didn't actually think that or say that, but I said that now. Anyways.
You just said it and thought it.
Nothing. But so then I went to Lake Stevens and I was like, it's kind of a piece of shit town
There's
here.
a place in Lake Stevens that's dedicated to these sorts of games.
Yeah, that's what I realized. And
Yeah.
I was just like, okay, that's where I'm going to go. So then I went there and I walked in and oh my God, there was about 10 neckbeards sitting down.
Yeah. Were they playing Magic?
Some sort of magic.
Because they,
I don't
they
know.
have Magic.
One of them had
tournaments
like a
there.
wizard hat on.
Were they wearing? Were the other ones wearing fedoras?
There was one fedora. Yep. they're casting like lightning bolts and shit. I
Were
don't
they-
know what was going on.
Were they covered with women?
Um,
Were they chick magnets?
yeah.
So there
Yeah.
were
There was quite a few like mail order brides there too.
there was a number of different neckbeard levels there. From anywhere from the wizard level
Well,
to the
there
normal
was-
level to the fedora level.
You could see the initiate levels. Like here's the new kids, and they're new. It's just starting to grow out. You know, they're dyeing it ginger to just be cool like the rest of them. They got their brand new fedora. They got, stuff like that. Anyways, besides the neckbeards, that's not the important part of the story. So I went around the shop. I'm looking around. I'm looking for dice. I don't see any dice. Then I realize I'm retarded, and they're in this huge glass case right in front of me.
Right.
Yeah, I'm retarded actually. So I go up to the glass case. I'm like, I actually don't know all the dice I need, so maybe I should ask someone. And then I realize I don't want to talk to any of these people.
That's you.
So, yep, this is my story. So yeah. So then I just looked around and I saw these little cases that were they're sets, dice sets. So I was like, okay, yeah, I could use those. So I decided to buy 2 of them and then get some extra D20s, so that everyone would have a dice. And then I went up to the counter and I was just like, okay, I'm going to buy these. And he's like, all right, give me your fucking money. He didn't say that. He was pretty white. He didn't actually have a neck beard, though. He was a really old guy.
Yep.
So then I bought the dice and then I left and then I went home. Also, still thinking about how I wasn't a piece of shit and I didn't buy them from Amazon.
What time of the day was it at this point when you had got home?
About 3:30 in the morning.
How did you go by yourself?
No, I went with Jason.
Okay.
But he like the second we got there, he was like straight to the neckbeard table.
Yeah.
He was like, I'm getting into this game. I was like, what? I don't know what fucking game you're playing, but he's already in on the game. So
They just accepted him as one of their own immediately.
he must have been there before because they were all on a first name basis. So I'm not really sure. Like he lives nowhere nearby, but they still knew him. I don't know. It's some sort of community cult.
When I showed up on your house on Thursday, Jason was here, and I saw the car out there, and I didn't know it was Jason. I thought it might have been your sister.
Oh, yeah.
I
But
thought-
it wasn't.
I thought the same thing actually.
I thought a similar thing.
All right, but that was my story.
We all got our hopes up.
Whoops.
That was a very nice story. Thank you for telling
Goddamn
us. I'm gonna emphasize that. That's gonna be the most important thing in the.
I've been to that
podcast.
place a couple times just to look around. Like, there's so many board games that I didn't know existed. It's a neat store. I like it.
Yeah.
What do you know the name of it off the top of your head?
I don't. I know it's right next to Buzzin.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
That should be
it's,
easy enough to find.
Yeah. Game something.
Because now it sounds like a store I want to go to.
Yeah.
Should the 4 of us go there and raise some hell?
No.
Give the shop owner some crap.
Like just start destroying the neckbeards at their own games.
And then they have to pay us protection, so we stay away.
Yeah.
That's how we make money. That's a good business plan.
Oh, we're the mob now.
We are now the Italian mob. That's
Yes.
basically how that functions. Okay. Let's get a protection racket going. Sweet.
I don't want to cause too much of a racket.
Are those like the tennis things?
Yes, I have one in my car, actually.
Were you playing tennis?
I always hope that I'm going to play tennis, but I haven't.
When's the last time you've played tennis?
Over a month ago. I played with Tyler sometime in like May or something.
When it was still like a million degrees out?
No, it was decent.
And you just keep the racket in there because you just might play someday.
Yeah. I have high hopes.
It has been sunny for a really, really long time. And
Yes.
there's been a fire at my house. By my house.
It did not get to your house.
Oh
though.
yeah,
It was close.
there was. Yeah, I heard about that one.
It's still burning. Still
Is
a
it?
brush fire.
Oh wow.
Yeah, still glows and embers still there at night. The DNR, like the fire people, have been there for like forever. Since the fire happened.
I don't understand. Like, why don't they just put it out?
I don't know. I think it's some complicated legal thing. Like, oh, the Department of Natural Resources isn't supposed to put fires out because
Well-
it's natural. It's a natural fire. But I don't even think it was a natural fire.
No, people go up there and smoke pot all the time. Probably.
They probably smoke pot.
No, I've heard stories, like, every time I go there for cross country and stuff, people are like, oh yeah, we go up there. And then I infer, because I know that those people are ones who get involved.
I know exactly whose voice that was.
That was my voice. I was saying it.
You talk like this when you go running?
Yep, every time. That's what happens when I'm out of breath.
Oh, okay.
He just jumps up to that. Is that a falsetto voice?
No, it's my real voice.
Yep.
Have you been out of town recently, Brady, that you can tell us a story about?
No, but I can tell you a story that happened yesterday.
All right.
I think we're good.
Well, fuck you, Ricky. I'm rebuilding my Jeep, the one I wrecked, right? So I have to get parts, and I go to Ace Hardware to get bolts. And fuck you, Alex, for shining out my face.
I don't know what he's talking about.
So I drive my 4Runner
Must
up
have been
there.
your smile.
Drive my 4Runner up there, and I get my bolts, come out, car won't start, dead. So I'm there for a few hours trying to figure this out. My fuel pump, my fuse block burnt up, so my fuel pump wasn't turning on.
I don't know these words.
I was gonna say I know what the words mean, but I don't know what they mean in relation to each other.
So the fuse, a fuse block where all your fuses are.
What is a fuse? That's what you light, and it goes to the firework and makes the explosion, so you have time to get
That's
away.
correct. That is correct.
Yes.
He is correct about that.
Why do
Continue,
you
Brady.
have that in your car?
That is a
That
correct.
doesn't seem safe.
Let's talk about a different fuse. So how electronics have a fuse that if a surge happens, they blow up instead of all your wires catching on fire.
Okay, so that's nice.
They don't blow up.
Okay.
It's they just burn up.
Yeah.
And my block where all those happen, all the fuses are, that burnt up. So the fuses were useless. So my fuel pump, which pumps fuel to my engine, that wouldn't turn on. So I had to wire my fuel pump to my headlights. So I had to turn on my headlights, and that turned on my fuel pump.
Because your headlights hadn't ran out of headlight fluid at that point, right?
Yeah, the headlight fluid was full, 100%. So that was a fun thing to get stuck at Ace for a few hours to figure out.
Were people looking at you?
There were a lot of people looking at me. Yeah, I actually saw my ex-girlfriend. That was fun.
Did she buy pot from you?
I don't smoke pot because I'm not a fucking retard.
Well, yeah, but
Wow. Okay, you live in the wrong fucking state then.
wow.
Yeah, Washington. Yeah.
Did anyone try to help, pretend you
There-
didn't know what you were doing?
There was one guy that offered some help, but I didn't need it. So
Yeah.
anyway, Ricky, do you have any stories?
No. Nope.
You've got to have something.
You didn't let me get off without saying a story, so you gotta tell us something.
I'm trying to remember the lyrics to the opening of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, but I can't. So I can't use that story. Did his parents die? Is that why he moved in with his aunt and uncle or
No,
something?
they were both incarcerated.
No,
That
that's a good one, but that's not what happened. No, his mom is alive. In fact, in one episode, he goes to see her
why doesn't she take care of him?
because he was getting in trouble. So she
So
sent him
he's
away.
a bad kid?
He was spray painting or something at the playground, and some fool started messing with him, and then his life got turned upside down.
Okay. So, yeah, that's basically what happened to me then. So, I don't need to tell my story. You can just go watch an episode of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
You are the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, right?
I'm the Fresh Prince of Granite Falls.
That explains the difference in
Yeah.
certain parts of the body and the entire body color.
Is Bel-Air a town or an area?
I feel like it's a town.
California?
Yes, I
Okay.
believe so. Because it sounds like a suburb of Los Angeles.
Yeah. Like Beverly Hills, Bel-Air, something like that.
Are you fresh up on your geography of California, Alex? Do you know
I've been
where?
to California the most recently. Alex has never left the state.
Alex, what's the farthest you've gone from home? Is it Spokane?
Well, actually,
That one time you might have wandered to Idaho?
I've gone to Idaho.
You've gone?
Like the last, I just
To
let
Idaho.
you keep saying it that I've never been out of the state, but the last time I actually told you was a few years ago.
A few years ago.
But when we were moving my sister out of college, or like when we went across the border to have lunch or something like that, I don't know. Not to Canada. But
So
to
you
Idaho.
just crossed the border a little bit, had some lunch. And came
Yeah,
back?
I hopped a fence. It was like, hey, you want to like pretend like you were a Mexican? And he was like, here's a simulated border hopping experience.
Okay.
I'm not beeping that.
Why did that turn down? Who turned it down?
The ghosts.
Mystery spot. Oh, and okay, as soon as we start talking about it, it's like, okay, I'll turn it back on. Roar.
Is that
You know
his
what?
voice?
I think you have a voice for everything. I think if I point at something, you can personify the voice better than anybody else I know.
Well, that may be true. I don't know.
What does the fan sound like?
Oh, I'm a fan. Woof, 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 woof.
Why is that a
Right.
dog?
No, it goes woof, 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 woof.
Like a helicopter, right?
Yeah.
A fan is basically just like an upside down helicopter.
No, a helicopter's an upside down fan.
Oh, all right. That makes more sense.
Because someone one day, like their ceiling fan, it fell, but somehow it flipped over and it just.
Stayed in place.
Yeah.
I want that to happen to me. Except I don't have a ceiling fan. Alex is shaking his head in disagreement, but even though he knows he's wrong and that Ricky is right.
Have you guys seen the movie The Babadook?
How do you spell it?
Babadook.
No.
I can say without looking it up, I have not seen it.
Yeah. No.
It was interesting. It was just like the whole thing was a mix of a bunch of different horror stories. Like there was this kid with his dad died, which happens at the beginning of the movie, so that's no spoilers. His dad dies, and then like it's the opening scene in the movie. His dad dies, and so he has like issues, and the mom's like, "Oh my god, I can't take care of this kid," and then something happens, and this book shows up in the library. In not their library, but like their shelf of books of bedtime stories, and she starts reading it, and it's like a spooky book, and she like puts it away, and then like things start coming true from the book. So like The Ring with the video, you watch a video and then you die. And then it gets like more creepy because she tears up the book and it shows up pieced back together, and there's like, when she first read it, there was a bunch of blank pages at the end, and those pages were filled in. And then after that, she like burns it, and it shows back up again, and like the thing starts getting at him, and it starts like attacking and stuff. But then at the end of the movie, this is where the spoilers are. Like, there's this big, the big climax, and they're fighting off the monster. And then you see the woman's face, the mom's face, and she's like totally shocked and surprised, but you don't see what's going on the other end. And then it's like, boom, everything's all good. But it's only like 1 week later, so they're still like kind of talking about it. And then at the very, very end, like the kid has a bowl of worms, and she's like, wow, that's good. He's going to be full today. And then she puts it in the basement, and then it like makes the Babadook noise. And she's like, oh, no, it's okay. It's okay. Shh, shh. Turns around and walks away. So, like, I mean, you infer that obviously the thing is in their basement, but why are they keeping it? And what happened that was shocking her? So I'm hoping there's a second one, because I'd like to see it. But
When was this movie made?
I think it was like 2015 or 2014. Very recent.
All right.
Yeah. So just real quick, this is the weirdest thing I've ever heard. It is an Australian-Canadian horror film. I didn't even know those two countries even knew about each other.
What?
Yeah. Also, budget of 7 pennies.
What? What does that mean?
They spent 7 pennies on the movie. I don't know. Yeah.
If it only takes 7 pennies to make a movie, we should start making a bunch of movies.
for 7 pennies a piece. Also, this movie made $5 million.
Is that good or bad?
Well, I mean, it's a Sundance film.
Oh, yeah. Those movies are always really weird, but for some reason people love them.
Yeah.
So
For an independent film, I think 5 million is pretty good.
Yeah.
Especially if you only spent 7 pennies on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the page of movies, I've recently watched quite a few. On the subject of like horror-ish movies, I watched Seven for the first time.
Will Smith?
Not Will Smith. Seven with Brad Pitt and
Brad Pitt.
Morgan Freeman.
Morgan Freeman.
I think it's 7 pounds you're thinking of.
I was thinking Will Smith, Morgan Freeman. Like if
Oh,
Morgan Freeman and
those.
Brad Pitt were together, they would make it Will Smith.
But it's a really good movie.
Is it?
So no one here has seen it.
I've not seen it.
I won't talk about it then because I wouldn't want to spoil it. But that's a good movie. I watched Castaway also.
that's always a good movie.
Yeah, that's a good movie.
Wilson.
Yeah.
I tried watching Braveheart.
That's the Disney one, right?
Nope.
Nope.
Mel
Like,
Gibson.
Oh, all right.
The anti-Semite.
Yeah.
I got like 30 minutes in, and I couldn't stand the Scottish accents, and it was very, very slow, and they're all just so poor, and so I stopped watching it. But I've recently watched The Terminator again. I'd like to see.
Original Terminator.
Yeah,
Okay.
because I watched Conan the Barbarian, and then I was like, oh, now there's a bunch of Arnold Schwarzenegger movies on my
What's the movie called?
Conan the Barbarian. That's how his name is
Yeah.
pronounced.
Just whenever I hear it.
Well, he's not a hipster like Conan. Conin. That's how it should be spelled. He doesn't deserve that A. So yeah, a lot of like late 70s, early 80s movies. Have you guys
Alright.
seen The Warriors?
I have not. Quick synopsis.
It's like 1960s gangs in New York.
All right.
There's like a bunch of different ones that are like not like, hood rats, like crazy things. Like this gang of 12 people dressed up like mimes.
Are any of them
What the fuck?
scooter gangs?
No scooter gangs.
Oh,
And
they're
then
not
there's-
very hardcore.
There's like another gang that's like they wear like face paint and they wear full baseball uniforms and they beat people up with baseball bats.
What the fuck?
And there's other there's some really creative gangs in there. And basically there's like the main guy, like his name is Cyrus, and he's like, hey, all us gangs, we're gonna stop fighting for one night, meet in this park, and we're gonna talk some things out. And so he was talking, and he was like, hey, let's all group together and we can run New York City. And then bang, he gets shot, and then the people who shot him blame it on the Warriors. So all of these gangs are out to get the Warriors, and then they run around New York City trying to get away. It's a good movie. I've seen it a few times.
You just dropped a lot of knowledge on us right there, and I liked it.
Yeah, that was a good. I like it.
I'm gonna have to look that one up when I get home.
Yeah, it's on Netflix, and I have it. So
I might borrow that from you
okay.
because that sounds like a good movie. What we were talking about horror films, like what would you say The Babadook is like your favorite horror film, hands down?
I'm trying to think of all the ones that I've watched.
I haven't watched very many, and I'm trying to get into them. So I think because Halloween's coming up and stuff.
Yeah. I've seen.
It's July.
It is July.
Halloween's coming up regardless.
It's not getting further away, so that's true. I've seen all the numbered Paranormal Activities,
All right.
not the recent one. There's a bird that I can see. It was weird. Oh, it flew away. Anyways, I don't know. They're kind of spooky. They're all pretty much like similar. Pretty narrow plot.
The Paranormal Activities. At first, I thought, oh, these are gonna be like the movies that were. I forgot what they're called now. They're like the parody movies.
Scary movie.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be like a scary movie
Because
situation.
it's such like a generic title.
Mhm. Yeah, but no, it was actually an honest to goodness attempt at a horror film.
Yeah.
Well, the main reason there's so many of them is because they're trying to capitalize on the success of the first one, because they had like a really small budget for it and it made a ton of money.
Yeah.
It was a huge profit. So they've just been making more and more to capitalize on that. But they made a huge profit with the first movie. So that's why they kept doing it.
We could probably make a movie like that, right?
Paranormal Activity.
We'd
We'd have to film with all the lights on because I get scared pretty easily.
Then it would be just a normal movie. It wouldn't be a horror movie anywhere.
Except I'd get scared of like things that are illuminated.
Everything's illuminated if the lights are on.
Yeah, that's the point. It's terrifying for me.
Are you just scared of everything in everyday life? Do you just walk around like, oh God, oh God?
So that movie would be like the story of an insane man. Like everyone else is just like, oh, the lights are on, and you're just freaking out at
Yeah.
everything you see. It's just like, okay, we need to contact someone. We need to put him.
Does anybody have any
somewhere.
Xanax? We need to get him doped up.
I would say my favorite scary movie, hands down. Well, I couldn't say that my favorite. I don't have one. The Grudge is a classic.
All right.
That one's a classic.
I like the Blair Witch Project.
I did not like that movie.
Why?
I couldn't get into it. Well, I mean, I watched the whole thing.
Yeah, we watched it together, right?
I don't remember.
I think we watched
Probably
it together.
because I don't remember specifically like searching for the movie and watching it. I think we probably watched it together. But like you couldn't. I like the movies where you get to see what you're afraid of.
Oh, all right.
Like even just a glimpse.
You were gonna say a scared of. weren't
Yeah,
you?
yeah. I don't really like the whole woods thing because
Alright.
I don't spend a lot of time out in the woods, so it's not something like I would be afraid of. But I go to sleep every single night.
Have you seen the movie where it's like a documentary person with firefighters, and the firefighters go to the apartment, and the apartment gets all closed off, like in a like they put sheets of plastic on the outside so you can't get out. Quarantine.
I want to see that movie. I've wanted to see that movie since I saw the trailer. Never
It's a
seen
good
it.
movie. I think it
Is
was actually.
Is it actually good?
Yeah, it's.
Is that like? Is it like?
What the original thing with the movie was? It was. It was like it might have been a Spanish speak. It was like a Spanish film or something. It was a film that was originally filmed in another language, and then an American movie studio bought the rights and remade it with American actors speaking American or speaking English. Sorry.
Right.
Hell yeah, let's go fishing.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you know whatever language the film is in, because I know you're multilingual, I think you should watch the original version of it. I'm gonna look it up right now, but yeah, I think The Quarantine as a movie was good. There's also the one where it's a city,
Cloverfield.
Cloverfield.
Okay, so
that
if-
one wasn't that
Alex
good. That one
Alex just
wasn't.
knows
I-
he's like,
I have a lot
it's
of-
also the one where it was a city.
I watch a lot of
so
movies.
Yeah.
that was
I have a
so
lot of
vague,
movie knowledge.
and Alex just like, oh,
Well,
Cloverfield.
he was going off Blair Witch, so then I know that style of filming.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then he went to Quarantine, then Full City, that style of filming, you're going to go to Cloverfield. So,
Forgot what I was gonna say.
Cloverfield was not good, by the way.
So, do you guys think that people that make scary movies like Paranormal Activity, they're just immune to scary movies after that? Like after you like edit something like that together, you're just immune to it?
No, I think you'd still be shitting yourself in the editing bay. Honestly, you'd every time
Well,
you.
I mean after you're done with that. Like after you just have to go through and see it like 20 times to edit it, you're just immune to everything like that.
I don't know about
Jump scares.
the editors, but like, who has seen the movie The Thing?
I have not.
Either the new one
The
or the old
original?
one. The original
seen the
or
original.
the new one. Okay. The original is a great movie. The new one's actually still pretty good. But like, for the new one, I've seen some of the behind the scenes for it, and they used a lot of like prosthetics and stuff like that for the monsters, and it's still terrifying even when it's
Yeah.
behind the scenes. It's just like, it's grotesque and everything, and it's just like you have to be immune to that after you go through like the behind the scenes on that, because you see it so often and like they're working with it. It's just strange. I don't know.
So the movie I was talking about that Quarantine based off is called Rec, and Rec, it's R-E-C in brackets, and it's a Spanish spoken film.
Okay.
And
If I get better at Spanish, I will watch that.
well, you know how sometimes people watch like Disney movies and stuff in Spanish to
Yeah.
get better at Spanish? Do the same thing with this.
Yeah.
It'll work perfectly.
I have two things to say. One, about The Thing. I watched that. This is like about my personal life, not about the movie. I went through a phase that a lot of people call middle school. That like I had a lot of time to like I woke up at 6 in the morning, but it only took me like 20 minutes to shower and brush my teeth and eat and all that. So I would be done by like 6:20, and I wouldn't leave until 7:20. So I'd have like an hour, and I'd watch like parts of a movie every day. So I watched The Thing over a span of like 3 days before school. So I did that all of middle school, just like watching movies, things. And then another thing, if you shortened Quentin Tarantino's name or like change it a little bit, his name would be Quarantino, right? Would that work?
What? What do you mean would that work?
Quentin Tarantino, like
Quarantino.
Yeah, I bet it would work.
All right.
Yeah, because
You're getting that from the quarantine. Okay. Yeah.
Tarantino.
Even though he didn't make that movie or have anything to do with that movie.
Yeah, you could do that. I think you could totally do that. Quarantino. What the fuck? Where did that come from?
I was thinking of quarantine. I add O's to everything. I was like, Quarantino.
But you hate Irish accents.
I hate Scottish accents.
Scottish accents, sorry.
Alex
I
hates
hate Irish accents and Irish things. But on the subject, like you wanted to get into horror movies, right?
Yeah.
So watch The Thing.
All right.
The original.
I have a list going, actually.
I'm not a huge horror fan. I don't watch too many, but The Thing is about the best one I know. Yeah.
I like scary movies because I get absolutely terrified for months.
Oh.
And then when that starts to wear off, I'm like, oh man, I haven't watched a good scary movie in a while.
On the subject of being terrified for months, I've told you all this before, but I'll tell you again. As a young kid, I watched the movie Signs.
Yeah.
Anyone that's seen Signs, I guess, or hasn't seen it, doesn't want to know spoilers, just tune out for a few seconds. But the aliens in the movie Signs are like their weakness is water.
Dumbest
just like
thing.
it's really dumb when it gets to it.
M. Night Shyamalan, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just like it's one of his twists. It's just like it's really dumb. It's like you splash water on them and why would they come to Earth with so much water? Anyways, but that's beside the point. So then that terrified me as a kid, the aliens and everything. So subconsciously for years afterwards, I would always leave water glasses around. I had water glasses everywhere in my room and I would just leave them there. I didn't think about it, but then the next time I watched Signs, like years later, I realized that's the reason I leave water glasses everywhere. Is because I'm terrified of aliens coming. So then I need to have water to splash on.
I can confirm this. I went to Alex's house the first time in 7th grade, and he'd have like 2 on either side of him on his desk, then like 3 on his nightstand. And they all had like, some of them had very trace amounts of water, some of them were like half full. They wouldn't last in my room because I have cats, so they would just get knocked over all the time.
Did you have to like refill them because they would?
No,
evaporate?
like when I saw one was empty, I'd like take it and I'd go fill it up and I'd drink some of it and I'd leave it somewhere. And I was just like, I didn't really pay attention to the fact that I had so many until the next time I watched the movie. I was like, that must be why.
Did your parents ever wonder, like, man, why don't we have any glasses in the cupboard? That's really weird.
Because that was like the first like scary movie I watched was Signs as a kid. So, yeah.
Have you guys ever seen the movie or the movie series Wrong Turn?
No.
Heard of it, have not.
I think we should watch
it.
that together. I haven't watched it in a really long time. A lot of the noises that I make come from that movie because I would imitate those noises as a kid.
I think we need to watch this movie then.
It's basically like people take a wrong turn, get into like the backwoods, and then there's some inbred cannibals that like rape and pillage them.
All right.
Those are the best kind of cannibals, the inbred ones.
Yeah.
Who's in The Wrong Turn? Like any of the?
I haven't
folks?
seen it since I was like 4 or 5.
So
they're
Eliza
older. All
Dushku,
right.
she's in there.
All right.
I don't know
What
who
did you
that
say?
is.
Elijah Douche Canoe?
Elijah Dushku, you don't know who that is?
No, haven't heard that name.
Let me pull a picture.
Has anyone seen the movie It Follows?
I haven't.
New one. That's supposed to be the best horror film in recent years.
I don't think I know her.
No, can't say that I've seen her before. But That's supposed to be a really good one. I haven't watched it though. It's newer though.
I've seen all. I feel like all the horror movies I watched, like you said, were like Quarantine and like Blair Witch and things like
So
that.
shaky cam footage.
Yeah,
All right. So first person, basically.
yeah.
Okay.
I always want to watch more, but like my main movie source is Netflix, and a lot of the stuff they have is just like the bad stuff, like
The B and C movies.
yeah, like rubber things that you can tell are rubber and just
You
kind
can
of
see the strings and stuff.
yeah. But like I like this stuff that is actually pretty scary. Which I don't have very high standards for that, but
Oh no, the lights are on. I'm scared. I'm
Yeah.
scared.
Still not a huge fan of horror movies, but back to Seven, it's more of a suspense thing, but they're chasing a serial killer. That's another good thing because there's certain points in the movie where it creates huge amounts of suspense
Yeah.
and like you actually get involved and you want to know what's going to happen. So
does Morgan Freeman ask you questions?
he does commentate
Okay.
in parts of the movie. So yeah.
What was I gonna say? What were we talking about this? Oh, right. You know how I've been saying this whole time I get really scared?
Yes.
Well, one time I was at my great-grandparents' house, and my great-grandpa, he died when I was like 3, so I was like 5 or something, 4 or 5 or something at the time. And there was like this cabinet. It was his cabinet of all of his things and stuff. It was pretty small, like a showcase thing. There was like a conch shell and like pictures and stuff. Well, anyways, my sister like opened the door and was playing with a conch shell, and then all of a sudden, like the lights started flicking on and off. I was like, "Oh my god, I'm getting out!" So I like went into the dining room or something, and then my great aunt, who's like 5 years younger than my dad, so she's basically like just an aunt. She was like, "Oh yeah, it's been doing that a lot lately when you touch his stuff." And then like I didn't think anything of it until like one day I was like, "Yeah, hey Jessica, my sister, remember that one time when like great grandpa's lights were flicking on and off in the cabinet?" And she was like, "Yeah, that was our Aunt Connie doing that the whole time because she didn't want us to touch his stuff." I was like, "Oh my god, I've been thinking I've had a paranormal experience with my great grandpa since I was 3. My whole life, and no one ever bothered to tell me." Like that honestly scared me for the longest
They
time.
probably thought you knew. They probably thought, oh, they realized that your aunt is standing behind you, flicking the light on and off.
I figured the light switch would have been like right there, not in another room.
Speaking of paranormal experiences, I know that we've experienced something very paranormal. The whole up the loop situation.
That's not like paranormal. That is serial killer level shit.
I know, and I want to.
You want to go through the story?
I think you should tell the story because so while I was at leadership camp, I told this story. We were having like a scary story night in our dorm, and there was like some kids who had some seriously freaky shit. But when I told this, like everybody got quiet and was like, "What the fuck? Somebody was in the woods with you?" Like everything else was like, "Oh, there was a dress with blood on it," but at this point, people were like, "Oh my fucking god, there was somebody in the woods with you."
Did they tell the story about hiking around Mount Rainier? And like the girl found pictures on her camera of herself sleeping.
No, nobody told that story. But if you want,
So
Like-
hold on. Before you start, I just want to ask Jeremy a question. Were any of the other stories things that actually happened to those people? Or all
well,
of
they
them,
were.
like-
It was all like of a friend of a friend. Like it was like, oh, we.
so just like
But-
oh, I gotta find a way to make this sound like it has some relevance to me.
Yeah.
But this is a story that legitimately happened to these guys. Didn't happen to me. I wasn't there.
I wasn't there either.
Oh, I didn't know.
I was
Yeah.
I was at a baseball game or a cross country race or something.
I've told this story many times,
And
but
I think you're a lot better at telling it
I'll-
than me.
I'll start from the beginning. So, we had some friends that went up the loop for the weekend, right? And they were
The
going,
Mountain Loop Highway.
yeah, they were going camping, and they were gonna go way out, and we knew where they were going, or we thought we knew. There's a whole bunch of campsites in the area, but they were going camping, and we decided that we wanted to go mess with them. So we grabbed a huge gorilla costume. Jeremy grabbed his, and then we all got in a car and we're going up the loop. We spend a lot of time like checking out all of the campsites off the road and everything, and we don't find them, so we just keep going up the loop. farther and farther until we find them because we didn't know exactly where they're camping. It was just up the loop somewhere. So then we get all the way to the end of the loop where there's a large gate closed, and then we saw their cars in a gravel area just before the gate.
Yeah, so some quick background, like during the winter they like closed the gate, like, oh, you're not supposed to like drive up past there because it's dangerous and stuff. Go for it.
But so we see their cars, so we're like, all right, so they must be nearby. That's what we're thinking. So they got to be nearby. So we pull up to their cars, whatnot. There's snow on the ground at this point. It's when was this?
It was like November, right?
November, December.
That sounds right.
For snow.
Right around November.
There was a lot of snow on the ground, and so we get out and we're looking around. We don't see them anywhere, but about 30 feet away from the cars, I see this smoldering fire. Like, it's smoking. There's no embers or anything like that, but it's smoking. It's like it had been put out within the last 10 minutes. Something along those lines. Like, someone actually put it out. So I didn't think much of it at first. And then, so we're looking around. Their cars are there. We don't know where they are, but we want to mess with them. So then we start, like, yelling out, making weird noises, stuff like that. After a while, I find a set of footprints in the snow going up this large hill. I follow those for a way. Some people follow me, but I didn't follow them all the way up the hill. I just thought it was strange.
Yeah,
I thought they must have been camping nearby.
Yeah, at this point in time, when I saw the footprints, I was like, oh, one of them had to like go piss or take a shit or something, so they walked up the hill. I thought maybe they were camping by their car, they were off in the woods nearby, something like that.
Yeah. So that's what we figured, and it's just like, okay, there's a set of footprints and everything. It doesn't get creepy. Oh, well, it got creepy there because at some points you just had a weird feeling. But then, yeah, so then we end up leaving, and we go back because we never found them, which we thought that was strange, but we just end up giving up and going back home. And then after the weekend, we get back the school and meet up and everything. And then we find out that they were camping miles away.
Yeah, they had parked their car and then walked like 3 miles past the gate.
So that means that they hadn't been at their cars, meaning that someone other than them set up that fire there, didn't have a car there of their own. So they were up there on foot. They set up that fire, put it out just before we got there, and then went up that hill. Someone who we didn't know, it was weird. And I still think about it as terrifying because I had no idea what it could have been, but someone was up there.
Yeah. I mean, to validate the story, like no cars came towards us. We were the only cars we had seen.
No one passed
for like
us or anything.
20 minutes.
That's a pretty spooky story, and I've heard it before, and it's
still just
it's
like
spooky
sends shivers down your spine.
Every time I hear it, I think that's a really
it's not
spooky
it's
story.
not one of those over the top unbelievable stories.
No,
like,
is.
We found this knife with blood all over it. It's just
Oh, you found a knife? Why
Yeah,
do you always
dude.
leave that part out?
well, I mean, I dropped it after I stabbed someone, and then we found it together in a group, and I played it off like I wasn't the murderer. But anyways, it's a story. It's just a few small things, but I don't have a good explanation. And then when you find out that your friends are miles and miles away, and that it couldn't have been them, yeah, it's weird.
The delayed spooks also got me. The fact that like we were there and we knew for like almost 48 hours, like where we didn't know for almost 48 hours that that there was somebody else there
probably watching us.
So we've had discussions about making this into a short movie.
Yeah.
Do you guys think we'd be able to do that without the snow, or do you think the snow's super vital? I mean, it's super vital for the footprints.
You could,
but
I think
I'm
we
just
could do it
curious
without it.
if
We
we
found
could,
like mud or something, and you could
Or even if we
we
just
just
like
water
left the
down
footprints
the
off.
spot and then make some muddy tracks.
I'm
and
just
whatnot.
curious because we've talked about making this a movie. I'm just keep wondering if we would need to wait till to hope it snowed.
Yeah,
I don't think we need snow.
Yeah, we can make do without.
it definitely adds to it, but
Because
it's not required.
I definitely think we should make a movie out of this.
Yeah. But that's the story. So
And it's a wonderful story.
Spooks.
wonderfully
I'm
spooky.
spooked now. Not gonna be able to sleep.
Sleep over at Al's house.
Alex, not Al.
My mom calls you Al now, by the way.
God
I'm really
damn
sorry.
it.
She texted me and said something like blah 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 dinner, then Al's house, and I just didn't even correct her.
Please correct her.
All right, I will.
Heather calls you Al.
I know. I hate. Just don't call me Al. Anything but Al.
Allie.
Hey, Jeremy, what time are we running?
Right now we're at about 45 minutes.
Okay.
I think that scary story is a really, really good place to end.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
What was our name?
The Four Horsemen, because we are going to. We have the signs. The end is nigh,
The end is nigh.
or nay, since we're horses, men.
Hey!
Nay.
What should the opening theme be for this week?
What does
Just
that mean?
Horses.
The song. Like, I try to put a song in front of every...
Oh,
I think this time it should be just like the clitter, the clip clap of horse hooves.
I'll just...
The
Yeah,
Monty
that's what you're
Python
trying
thing.
I like that.
Okay.
I was making hand motions too, like I was holding coconuts.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.
See ya. Bye, everybody.